Welcome to Shedding Shackles. Today's topic is the problem with emotion. And now, here's your Shedding Shackles host, Roland Trujillo.
Welcome everyone, welcome. My name is Roland. The program is called Shedding Shackles. Today, I want to talk about emotion. I want to talk about emotion because that's everybody's problem. Emotions are killing you. They are. You get upset over every little thing. And you don't even realize sometimes just how upsettable you are. Every little thing irritates you and exasperates you and makes you nervous and makes you tense and makes you anxious and makes you worried, or every little thing excites you. You watch a ball game and you're yelling and screaming. Well, all of this emotionality does a lot of wear and tear to your body. If you look at animals, you will see that animals are, by and large, very calm. Very calm. It's only in certain moments when they run fast or fight or jump. Otherwise, they're very calm, except when they're little tiny animals. The little animals, they romp and play, but that's how they learn. But the mature animals are, for the most part, calm. But look at humans. Look at how nervous and excitable and tense that they are. There's got to be something wrong with that. We know that human beings are supposed to be calm, thoughtful, wise, long-suffering, patient, and yet we're not. So what's gone wrong? Well, you have, from the time you were a little child, and you couldn't help it when you were a little child. You were only a little child. People emotionalized you, and they teased you, and they pressured you. And they got to you, mainly with words. Mainly with words. And so you became reactive to words, especially negative words or words of criticism. And then you felt empty. When you became angry, when you were a little child, if someone was mean, then you became angry and hurt. And then angry and hurt, you felt empty and you needed love. And so then when people used nice words, then you reacted to the nice words and felt better. So it got to the point that words could control your feelings. Words could control your feelings. And people could control your feelings. And you know what a feeling is? They're in charge. You're no longer in charge of your own body. If someone can upset you, then they're in charge of the upset. Your body is responding to them, reacting to them. They are the master of your body. Did you ever think of it that way? So there's got to be something wrong with that. For animals, it's perfectly natural to react to things in the environment. But humans, we are supposed to respond with what? With patience, with reason, with calmness. But you find it difficult to do that, don't you? Now, on the surface, you may be able to look like you're calm, but underneath, you're reacting. And, it's like the iceberg. You probably heard you've heard the little, it's an analogy where someone talks about the iceberg. When you look at the iceberg, you see the tip of the iceberg above the water, but underneath the water, there's many, 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 many times more iceberg down there than at the very tip. Just the very tip is sticking out of the water, and it's big enough. Well, it's the same way with your emotions. Maybe on the surface, you see a little tension or a little irritation or a little anger. But underneath, the cells of your body, your nerves, your glands, your blood vessels, all are reacting, changing, being affected by this global change in your body. So I want to talk about how to become less reactive. That's right. More in charge, calmer, and then life, you can begin to master life instead of life being your master. You'll be the master of circumstances instead of circumstances being your master. So stay tuned. I'm a man with a microphone, so people ask. No, I don't have a church. I do not have a church. I'm just a person, and I open my mouth and I talk. And if what I say strikes a responsive chord, then that's good. Incidentally, I do need to mention that I'm only on once a week. So just take note of when I'm on, if I'm on the air right now, and remember it. And remember the website, sheddingshackles.com or www.weeklypastor.com. So you can listen to these programs. Watch some of my YouTube videos. I have a lot of them, and they're real good. If you listen to this program and you can hear where I'm coming from, you can hear that I'm coming from a different place, not the usual place where I'm being manipulative and where I'm making ego appeals or where I'm trying to seduce you or wow you or impress you. If you can see that I'm coming from a different place and you kind of like that, then you need to keep listening to this program. That's right, you have to keep listening to this program so that you might awaken to what's been happening to you. You see, you have been mistaught ever since you were a little child, and continuing now, you're taught that emotions are perfectly normal, that you have to get excited and angry and irritated and yell and scream at ball games, and you see everybody else doing that, and you feel like, well, that's the way you're supposed to be. And then they tell you the lie that the emotional life is the real thing. But if you feel this and feel that, then that's really living. Well, that's only if you want to live like an animal and if you want to be totally a slave of your emotions. See, what happens is that, let me see if I can explain this to you philosophically. You see, human beings were created by the Creator to know Him. See, the world of nature, trees and chipmunks and squirrels, they don't know the Creator. They're incapable of knowing the Creator. They were made by Him, yet they do not know Him. Nothing can know Him. It's all just mechanical, orbits and cycles and seasons, and it's all laid out according to very beautiful laws of nature and laws of physics and math and so on, but there's no awareness of the Creator. So God made the human being in His image and likeness, a human being with a consciousness, a kind of consciousness that can be aware, so that you can sense spiritual things, and so that you can see with spiritual light. And then you become aware of the Creator, and then you can love the Creator or not love Him. See, He also created a choice factor. He gave us freedom. Animals don't have any freedom. The animal reacts and reacts, and that's all it can do, is react to the environment. The environment is its master, as I said on the last program. But a human being, we can love the Creator. We can see the things that He made, and we can experience awe and wonder. And we can marvel at God's creative genius and His handiwork. And yes, later in life, after we've made quite a few mistakes, see, we've been like the prodigal son or the prodigal daughter. You remember the beautiful parable that Christ told of the prodigal son, who took his inheritance and went away and squandered it. And then he looked at himself one day and saw how he was living, and he said, you know what? I'm going back home. I'm better off there. And he went home to face his father. And he knocked on the door, and his father came to the door, and he said, Father, I'm not worthy to be your son. I've squandered everything and messed everything up, and I'm sorry. And his father said, welcome, my son. Welcome. I'm so glad you're back. I had lost my son, and now I've gained him back. Welcome. Let's have a feast and celebrate. Well, we've all been prodigal sons and daughters. And we went off and we became angry and we hated people and we were ambitious and we tried to get even and we tried to prove things to other people. See, you had gone for their tease and challenge, hadn't you? You fell for it. Hook, line, and sinker, you fell for it. Then the rest of your life you slaved away and worked away and did everything you could so that in the mirror of other people's eyes you would look good. And then they would say, oh yes, you are a nice person, or oh yes, you are smart, or oh yes, you are pretty, or oh yes, you are successful. You wanted them to take away the negativity that had been laid upon you, but all you had done is gone for the tease and the challenge. You ended up doing exactly what they wanted you to do, jumping through hoops. Now you have to see that and bear the pain of seeing it, like the prodigal son, and saying, you know what, I'd be better off being a child of God. And so you get the little meditation, and you sit quietly. You go in your room and close the door and sit in the chair, and you become aware. You become still. And yeah, you're going to experience a little bit of anxiety as awareness dawns, but you want to be aware. You want to know the truth, because the truth is in God's light. And all you'll see is your own wrong, but you'll also see your helplessness. You'll see that you can't change yourself, so there's no use crying. And then it's like, let go and let God. You heard that expression. And then God rescues you from all of your errors. See, you couldn't help it because you were surrounded by lies and by confused people and out of control people and angry people and people without understanding. You wanted understanding from your parents. They didn't have it. They didn't have it. They too were struggling. Now you see that, don't you? Now that you're an adult, you see that they were just struggling. So don't hate them anymore. Don't feel sorry for them, but don't hate them either. Just let it go. Let it all go. Let your hair down and become a child of God. Be content to just go through life and observe things and see your own little errors and be a little sorry when you see your own thing that you did wrong, like hating someone, for example, and just bear the little bit of pain of seeing it, and then it'll be over. But then what I was going to say is that you then discover God's forgiveness and His patience and His love and His kindness. It's beautiful. And then life is sweet. Did you know that my most popular book is The Myths and Mysteries of Marriage? A spiritual and practical look at relationships. My favorite chapter is How to Forgive and Forget. The Myths and Mysteries of Marriage. Check it out at Amazon.com or SheddingShackles.com.
Some stations carry only the 15-minute version of Shedding Shackles. To hear the complete 30-minute program, go to www.SheddingShackles.com and click on Listen. That's www.SheddingShackles.com.